The Dunmore Hills are part of Darawal country, with the Wadi Wadi and Allura people the traditional custodians of the area. Prior to European development, the Dunmore Hills were thickly vegetated in rainforest, with Melaleuca shrubland found on some of the higher rocky hilltops. European settlers cleared most of the rainforest to access the rich basaltic soils for cropping and pasture. Rural farmhouses were established in the area from around the 1840s, with tenant farmers establishing a small community on the hill through the 1800s. Quarrying commenced in the Dunmore Hills in the 1920s, while the Rinka Quarry and Cleary Bros Quarry started operations in the 1960s. In the second half of the 20th century, quarrying has coexisted with dairy farming as the primary industries within the Dunmore Hills. The Belmont homestead was positioned on the top of a ridgeline with direct views to other historic properties, including the hill to the north, Kiawana to the northwest, and Rosemont to the east. Belmont, the hill, and Kiawana were all established or extended by members of the Dunster family, demonstrating the close ties within and between the pioneering families of the area. Belmont is a timber-framed and clad farmhouse, built in 1904 by Walter Dunster using local builder Tommy Whitfield and originally called Wahroonga. Samuel and Jane MacDonald bought the property in 1912, renaming the house Belmont, after Jane's maiden name, Bell. Belmont can be described as a large dwelling for its time, with a simple rectangular floor plan that includes a central east-west corridor, with bedrooms, service areas and the bathroom located south of the corridor, and living areas located to the north. Because this is a more practical, working building and not in a status-conscious location such as a town main street, the appearance of this building is quite simple, although well-proportioned. There is very little applied decoration, although the original color scheme would probably have been more varied than the current white paint treatment to all elements except the roofing. The internal lining boards are milled out of Baltic pine and are a medium-width, simple, and elegant board consisting of a recessed semicircular beading along the upper edge of the board. Kitchens, bathrooms and laundries are service spaces where upgrades are common. The kitchen was extended around the 1960s, with the original fireplace replaced to a modern appliance. The central corridor leads from the east-facing front door, meaning visitors arriving via Dunster's Lane to the north had to walk around to the east side of the house. The corridor runs the full length of the house, providing ventilation throughout the house during summer. The north and east verandas are quite narrow, contrasting with the usual practice of wide farmhouse verandas. The northern veranda has been enclosed to form a sleepout, which are quite common to provide accommodation for children or casual farm workers. Large fig trees around the farmhouses of the Dunmore Hills likely represent remnants from the former rainforest communities, while the younger figs were planted by the early residents. Dry stone walls were established along paddock boundaries, with rocks collected from the stony hills for this purpose and also to improve the use of the paddocks for cropping. The rich pasture of the Dunmore Hills continue to be grazed by dairy cattle and other livestock to this day. Since the 1970s, rainforest vegetation has slowly recovered in many of the valleys within the Dunmore Hills previously cleared for agriculture. These pockets of native vegetation now contain endangered ecological communities with rare and endangered plant species. The regrowth of the rainforest and emergence of quarrying reflects the continuing evolution of the Dunmore Hills landscape and land use practices. For more information on the Belmont and the pioneering families of the Dunmore Hills, follow the links to the interactive model.